Frangie Show on 1010XL 92.5 FM.
All right, we welcome you in. Today's new drug. We always have a new drug. We talk about all the fun stuff going on in the world of sports, including a great win for Rory McIlroy at the Masters. Our friend Lee Smith, best golf analyst I know, the executive director of the Players Championship, will be in here with us in about 20 minutes or so, talk all about Rory, what it means for the world of golf, for the Masters, for the players, and a whole lot more that comes up. We'll do our Jaguar breakdown. We'll continue to do that. Today we'll go into the running backs and tight end rooms and see how this year's draft could affect running back and tight end. And we'll certainly talk about which players in the draft could match up and how these players that are on the Jags now will be affected by the draft. Again, yesterday it was the wide receiver room. Today, running backs and tight ends. Tomorrow, the offensive line. Next week, we'll go through the defensive rooms and give you an idea of how we think all that is affected. Xavier Lee is a Gator. Wow, that Gator basketball team, my goodness, they've got a chance to be good again. We'll certainly get to that coming up as well. And I was thrilled about it. We were all thrilled about it when we heard about it last night. So we'll get to that coming up. Hayes and I and JJ will get to that in just a second. But I'm going to start with the tragedy at Florida State. You probably know by now there was an active shooter on the campus. One person is dead. Six people were injured, one critically injured. One shooter is dead. One shooter is in custody, we are told. Man, what are we doing? When I saw that story, it was an absolute gut punch because it's Florida State and it's 2.5 hours from here. Now, listen, it wouldn't be any less tragic if it was Oklahoma State or Oregon State. That's not the point. It would be tragic all around. But, man, it hits hard when you think about, golly, these beautiful students in this beautiful time of year on that beautiful campus can't even go to class without having to shelter in place and hide under desks and hide in a bowling alley. And, whew, what are we doing, man? I'm not going to make a political statement. That's not what we do here. But I'd be disingenuous if I didn't tell you it just socked me right in the head. Golly. So prayers for everybody in Tallahassee, prayers for everybody on that FSU campus. Near and dear to that one's close now. A lot. I've said this before. A lot of the people that listen to this radio show and this radio station went to Florida State. Their children go to Florida State, have gone to Florida State. We're talking about a school again. It would be just as tragic if it was Penn State, but it's not. It's a school 2.5 hours for your prayers for everybody in Tallahassee, prayers for everybody on that campus. This one just kind of walloped me a little bit. I mean, they all do. They all wallop me. They all hit you hard. But this one, I don't know. This one's 2.5 hours from here, and we how much? Even though we're Florida guys, but in our business and our careers, how much time have you spent on that campus, and how much time you spent in that town? And this one was jarring. What are we doing, man? This one jarred me. It did.
Yeah, I mean, that's the thing. We just pretty much all of us have friends that have kids that go there or went there, and it's just it's awful. And hopefully it doesn't. The count that they have now, hopefully that doesn't rise. It's just it's a tragedy, and it's just so sad.
Yeah, and we'll learn more about the shooter and the circumstance, and I understand that. We'll learn more, and we'll hear more stories, and it'll be the big story of the day. But just the students. I mean, if there's of all the freedoms. We have these great freedoms in our country. It's why it's the greatest country in the world. But of all the freedoms, Hayes, no freedom is greater than, in my mind, the college student, excuse me, the college student finally away from home for the first time, meeting new college students, living the college life, preparing for the next 40, 50 years of life, by the way. And that's the fun time, whether it's sororities or fraternities or going to football games or just hanging out with your friends at the on-campus, the student union. And, man, that should be sacred, And again, it's no less tragic or no more tragic, I should say, than a shooting at a train station in New York City. I'm not making that point. But students in college, man, students in college can't go to class, and sheesh, what a mess. So anyway, prayers, true prayers for people at Florida State. True prayers for, and I mean that sincerely. That's not a cliche. I'm not saying it because that's what everybody says. Really praying and thinking about people that have gone through this. The many that are traumatized that were not among the 6, traumatized because of how fearful it was, and have all of them in my prayers too, not just the ones affected. So prayers for everybody in Tallahassee. So and I mean that very sincerely. A lot to do on the program today. Lee Smith comes by. Xavier Lee is going to Florida.
Big.
Can I tell you my plans?
That is, yeah, please do.
Friday night, St. Elmo's.
Oh, okay.
Friday night, St. Elmo's, the night before the Final Four.
Oh, Indianapolis. Yeah, Final Four.
On Saturday.
Boy, we're not jumping ahead at all here.
Lunch at Harry and Izzy's. Okay. I'm just letting you know. Maybe walk around that little circle. You know the circle they have there.
Mm-hmm. It's very nice.
Getting set. I'm just telling you, that's my plans. I did tweet last night. I did post last night, with a big grin on my face. I did post last night. In case you guys are wondering, the Final Four next year is in Indy. I felt obligated. Hey, look. Joking aside, the guy's a really good player. I mean, he's a really, really good player, and we'll talk more about this in the 5 o'clock hour. I want to get to some other stuff, but Florida's become that team now, at least for today. It could change tomorrow, next week, next year, but when in that whole rich getting richer argument or conversation we have about Alabama football and Georgia football and back in the day FSU and Miami football and Gator football, that whole, of course the rich get richer, of course Duke gets all the good players. Florida's now in that rich getting richer conversation. I saw one guy post, it wasn't John Rothstein, but it was one of those guys, might have been Field of 68, and his post was perfect. He goes, did they really let Florida get Xavier Lee? Did you see that? Yeah. That was perfectly worded. It was the real, and when he said they, who he's talking to is the rest of the college basketball world. Did you really let this happen? They just won the title. They've got that whole front court coming back. They got Aberdeen coming back, and you let them have Xavier Lee. That whole rich getting richer thing drives us crazy in sports because it's usually somebody else's team. At least for today, that's where the Florida basketball team is.
Without a doubt, it's very easy to watch Xavier Lee's film and see how easily he will translate to Todd Golden's system. I mean, he's somebody who can score at all 3 levels of the court. I mean, he's got a beautiful step back 3, and he's 6'4", so he can cover a lot of ground with that step back. He's very good at driving the basketball to the hoop and finishing, and he's got a nice, when his drive gets stymied, he's got a nice way of stopping, pivoting, and finding a shot to convert. So I have no idea how good the Princeton coach is as an offensive mind, but I'm going to go out on a limb and say he's not Todd Golden. And so to think that Todd Golden now has a 6'4" point guard that averaged 17 points a game, 6 rebounds, and 5.5 assists last season in his system, yeah, I would think that Xavier Lee has an outstanding chance to be like newcomer of the year in the SEC, which would put him high up in the discussion for probably best players in the country.
Yeah, so we'll certainly, in the 5 o'clock hour, we'll talk more about that. But these are great times to be a Gator basketball fan. As Ian Eagle said at the end of the game, it's a great time to be a Gator. Well, that continues with the Xavier Lee news. We'll talk about that. We'll talk some Jaguar football. We're going to go into the running backs room and the tight ends room. And in large part, Hays, because this Ashton Jeanty to the Jags narrative continues to gain steam. Whether it's legit or not, only Liam Cohen and James Gladstone and Tony Baselli and their people know how much legitimacy there is to it, and they're not going to show their hands, nor should they. But, man, that thing continues to gain steam.
It really does. It's interesting because, our good buddy Pete Prisco has been so adamant about not taking really running backs in the first round, but certainly not taking them high. And so to see him tweeting, I think as early as this morning about, I would take Jeanty at 5. He's a special player, and I'm not sure there is a special player outside of Hunter and Carter in this draft. I mean, that tells you, in my opinion, all you need to know about that it can't be discounted. And again, it's not what I would do if I were the Jaguars. But if it happens, it'll bring a lot of excitement. Obviously, he looks like he's an outstanding player. And, at the end of the day, you want to get the pick right. I think Mason Graham will be a good player. I think if they went offensive line, that'd be a good player too. But it absolutely can't be discounted. And I don't know that you're going to see a team move up to get Genty to jump the Raiders. It could happen. So I don't believe this is smoke from the Jaguars trying to build up Genty in hopes of getting a call to trade back. I mean, maybe that's part of it, but I'd be surprised just because, I mean, this has been a weird draft anyway, in that every team has its first round pick. It's that this crop of GMs is just very, very reluctant to trade a first round pick. Not that you'd have to do that to move up a few spots to get Genty, but it just shows how, in terms of picks, very few clubs are willing to give up picks to go get a player, and again, particularly one that's going to have, you would think, a fairly short shelf life compared to the other players that are being drafted around him. But yeah, I think it's legitimate in terms of could it happen? I don't believe it will happen, but it's interesting, and it would totally revamp the team. I mean, I don't know that you can have 2 first-round running backs and a third-round running back on your team when you've won 4 games the previous season. But if that's the route they go, I mean, it will be a lot of fun to watch.
Yeah, we will, and we'll talk about that. So today, 4:40, we go into the running backs room and the tight ends room. What have they got? What do they need? We'll certainly do that today. We'll do a different Jaguars room every day leading up to the draft. But when we come back, let's talk golf. Rory McIlroy has won the Masters on the heels of winning the Players. He's the hottest player on the planet right now. Let's relive it a little bit. Lee Smith joins us, the executive director of the Players and our golf analyst. That's next on 1010XL and 92.5 FM.
The Frangie Show from the Harold and Harold studio. Don't settle for less than you deserve.
No static ever. Download the free 1010XL app for Apple and Android devices and take us with you wherever you go. 1010XL.
Hi, folks. I'm Frank Frangie. If you have a sweet tooth like me, the sweetest desserts in town come from Spoonful Bakery. Spoonful is an online bakery. They deliver boxes of assorted desserts right to your home or office. They're so good, and they make for great gifts for friends or clients. And if you want custom orders, wedding cakes or birthday cakes, or catered desserts for an event, they are the best. Log on to spoonful-bakery.com or call them at 904-515-4984. That's Spoonful Bakery for the sweetest desserts in town.
MOV-ING. Southside Kia is moving. Our moving sale is on right now. Help us clear new Kias out. Our current selection's got 200 plus Kias on the lot. Hurry to save big with us. New rides starting at just $20,000 bucks. Plus, bring your tax refund today. We'll double it up to $5K. MOV-ING. Get to Southside Kia this spring. Online at SouthsideKiaJacks.com. Get your next ride at Southside. For complete details, call 904-325-9208.
Frank Frangie here for Stanley Pools. If you're dreaming of putting in a pool this year, choosing the right company is the most important decision you'll make. I've trusted Stanley Pools to build my pool, renovate my pool, and maintain my pool. Stanley Pools has been the best in the business since 1988, and they're still family owned. Call them today at 904-269-7277 or find them online at StanleyPoolsFL.com. That's Stanley Pools, a family tradition of fine swimming pools.
It's kind of like his own private locker, and you're his guest.
Every time we talk, I'm reinvigorated by my love of the game.
Hays Carlyon here. Find my blog at 1010XL.com.
Hays Blog is brought to you by Roland Reach Plumbing, where quality and experience count.
When it's time for new tires, you can count on Big Chief Tire for quality and value. Frank Frangie here. Their expert team will help you quickly find the right fit, ensuring a safe, comfortable ride. With quality options, fair prices, and quick installation, you'll be back on the road in no time. Visit WeKeepJacksRolling.com or call 904-932-0950 today to schedule your appointment and roll into 2025 with great confidence. Big Chief Tire keeps Jacks rolling.
Tired of a plain and boring backyard? Stonecore on Phillips Highway is your one-stop choice to beautify your home. With pavers, stonework, outdoor kitchens, fireplaces, pergolas, and driveways. Visit stonecore.co. We do outdoors better.
I'm here with Clayton Bromberg of Underwood Jewelers. Clayton, why is it that when you look at how long a store has been in business, that it always seems to be the stores like Underwood's that sell fine quality that have been around the longest?
Frank, that's a question that really doesn't get asked a lot, but it should be. There are a number of reasons, but probably the biggest is because of the endorsements our longtime customers and their pieces of jewelry have given us through the years. You see, when you sell really fine quality jewelry, that piece will last longer and always stay beautiful. It might stay in the same family for generations. And through those years of wear, a lot of compliments will be made and a lot of people will be told where the piece of jewelry came from. You see, at a store like Underwood's, it's our stated goal to be the best jeweler in the South, not the biggest. So everything we do and carry has to help move us toward that goal. And ultimately, it's the satisfied customers wearing fine quality jewelry that have kept Underwood's in Jacksonville since 1928.
Underwood's in San Marco, Avondale, and the shops of Ponte Vedra.
At Performance Painting, we've spent decades protecting commercial properties with durable, long-lasting coatings. And we can bring the same expertise when painting the exterior of your home. With industry-leading materials and a proven process, we extend the life of your home, reducing maintenance costs and preserving its value. Now, for a limited time, save $500 when you hire us to paint your home's exterior. Just mention 1010XL. Go to performance-painting.com to schedule a friendly estimate. Performance Painting. Repair, protect, preserve.
Performance Painting.
Out with the old, in with the organized. Mia here for my friends at Closets by Design. Freshen up your home this spring with a custom organization solution. For a limited time, take advantage of our spring special and enjoy exclusive savings on closets, garages, home offices, and more. That's 40% off with an additional 50% off with 12-month special financing through April. Spring on this deal before it's gone. Call today to schedule your free in-home consultation with Closets by Design.
Are you looking for a place to outfit your truck or van? It's Catlin Truck Accessories. For 105 years and 4 generations, Catlin is the name you can count on. This is Keith Catlin, and we know trucks and vans too, from Lear toppers, ladder racks, van shelving, strobe lighting, roll and lock bed covers, and everything in between. If you want quality products and great customer service, there's only one name. It's Catlin.
Who can you count on? Count on Catlin.
For 105 years, you can count on Catlin.
There's a lot on the line in a divorce. Your home, savings, maybe even your kids. So when you find yourself facing divorce and the unexpected directions it can take, you need a partner you can count on. I'm Rick Julius, a partner at Cordell & Cordell. Don't let divorce take more than it has to.
Offices in Jacksonville. Schedule an appointment with one of Cordell & Cordell's attorneys. Lisa Cargis, Florida resident partner. Rick Julius, licensed in Pennsylvania only. Online at CordellCordell.com.
Tailgaters parking season passes are on sale now. Secure your Jaguar season parking today. Enjoy indoor restrooms, a full-service bar and grill, access 4 hours before kickoff. Visit tailgatersparking.com and book your space today.
1010XL is presented by Farah & Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Protecting you and your family. Call 396-5555. Jacksonville.
It's a Stanley Pools Thursday on The Frangie Show. Since 1988, the experts in pools, pavers, screen enclosures, it's Stanley Pools.
Frank Frangie, Hays Carlyon with you, JJ LaSelva. Our buddy Lee Smith is here. He is the executive director of the Players and our golf analyst. Whew. What a Masters.
Oh,
my goodness. Were you watching at home? Where were you? At home watching?
I was at home, yep.
I tell the story on the air. I watched most of it at home, watched the first 11 holes for the leaders at home. Then it was at an event that night with a bunch of people at the event, huddled around the TV at the event. And it was, I'm telling you, Lee, for me, it was Nicklaus in 86, Tiger in 97, and this might be third for me as far as watching the Masters. I know we have recency bias, but I thought it was just exhilarating.
Yeah, I think the biggest difference between, and I would agree as far as the levels of those events, but I think the interesting thing about the other two is essentially they were all highs.
Yeah.
You just kept riding the high with Nicklaus in 86, and you kept riding the high of Tiger, and you just went higher and higher. This particular Masters was so excruciatingly disappointing because I mean, not overall, but you went high and then you went low.
Great low.
And then
Great
he's
point.
winning and then he's low and then he's winning. And I mean, you did that 3 or 4 distinct times, throughout 18 holes and even in the playoff. I mean, you think even at the end, it's like he hits it to 15, really close, misses it, hits it to 16, really close. So you're down again after the double at 13 and bogey at 14. Then he birdies 17. It's like, okay, he birdies 17 and hits the fairway on 18, and you're like, this is over.
Right.
And then wedges it in the bunker. And now we're down again, and then
You're right.
obviously birdieing 18,
That's a great point, up and down. I mean, maybe that's why it felt so exhilarating. I mean, maybe if it had been just like Hays, if it had been just like Tiger and Nicklaus, I wouldn't be comparing it to the drama of Tiger and Nicklaus. Maybe because it was different.
Well, and he starts off Sunday with a double bogey. I mean, it was just amazing. But he showed a lot of resilience, and he hit some terrible shots, but he hit 3 or 4 remarkable shots. What do you think will be the positive shot that people will remember moving forward?
Well, I think I've heard the stats of just how rare it is, the shots he hit on 15, 16, 17 to whatever it was, 6 feet, 9 feet, 2 feet, and he's never done that in consecutive 3 holes in his career of 350 different chances to hit it from 150 to 200 yards, to hit it that close, all those types of things. But the shot on 15, the 7-iron from 2+,
right?
Drawing probably 30 yards that lands on the front right of that green over water. Like there's probably not another human currently that can hit that golf shot or would take it on.
Right. Very good point. I told Hays, of all the shots to me, I'm taking the chalk here, but after everything that happens, after he blew it twice and regained it and blew it again and regained it and blew it again, and then he gets into playoff, and because he's longer than Rose hits first on his second shot, and he hits it in just on the playoff hole, and he hits it in there to 15 feet or whatever it was. Now you're Rory. Everyone's talking about, did you choke it away? You're a smart guy, so he knows the Rory choke factor is being discussed everywhere. His opponent's 12 feet away or whatever he was, and he's got to hit a shot, and he hit it to 3 feet. I think the circumstances of that shot, Lee, were amazing in my mind.
Yeah, no, look, that wasn't the only one. I mean, for those folks that use the choke word, there are as many arguments for him pulling off the shot when he needed it, whether it was 15, whether it was 16, whether it was birdieing 17. Then you can call it whatever it is from the middle of the fairway of 18 in regulation to hit it, flare it to the right in the bunker, or the pitch on 13, or even the mental decision in my opinion to lay up on 13. From 239, I mean, we had a group text going, and right when I saw a layup coming out, and you guys love this as basketball fans, my response to the group text was, I hope he's not going to 4 corners too early.
Yeah.
Because that's not his nature. From that distance to land on the front of that green, I can't imagine. Maybe it was a 4-iron or something. But at the end of the day, maybe he was in between clubs there, or something that just didn't make it, fit his eye. But obviously the pitch shot was
Did he shank
abysmal.
It went dead right. I mean, look, I got that in my bag, okay? I mean, but it looked like was it a shank? Did it hit the hosel?
Yeah, I don't feel like it was a shank, but you would almost have to think that it got close because, for those of the folks that watch that hole, you don't even have to aim at the flag on that shot. You can aim 20 feet left of the flag, and it filters left with spin and the contours of the green anyway. So to miss it 20 feet right. Feels like you missed it by 40 feet, which those guys don't do from 50, 60, 70 yards.
Never.
How big of a win was it for the PGA Tour? I mean, the day starts, it's Rory and Bryson in the final group. Bryson's really, I think, the only one on that tour that could possibly spark something. So they're in the final group. Rory doubles the first hole. So DeChambeau immediately makes up the deficit. But then he totally wilts. And really by 5 o'clock wasn't even on the first page of the leaderboard. And then obviously Rory McIlroy, 2-time Players Champion, wins the Masters. And Rory's really been the face of the PGA Tour over the last 2 or 3 years in this, unfortunate creation of LIV Golf.
Yeah, I don't know, Hays, if there's as much of a win by the PGA Tour, but I think it was definitely a win for golf. To see what unification can look like. and the significant benefits for the fans to, at the end of the day, Scottie Scheffler's the number one player in the world, but I think it's somewhat unanimous that outside of Tiger that doesn't play, the two most popular players in the world are Rory McIlroy and Bryson DeChambeau. And for those two to tee it up the final round of the Masters and at least for a few holes go head to head, like you say, Rory wilts a little early, and then Bryson bogeys 3 and 4, I think, and a couple of 2-shot swings there that now all of a sudden Rory's 2 or 3 ahead, and but I think overall it's a win for the fans, and I think they showed out with ratings and the numbers that came out. It was a very exciting Masters and very popular one.
You sent me an interesting text today. You have a question for Hays and me, and I'm going to repeat the question to you after we take a crack at it, but share with the question because it's a great topic.
Yeah, this week I said, you know what, I'm going to run that by Hays and Frank on Thursday. But running into people in the community, it's interesting that I've heard positive or negative as to now the last 2 years the Players Champion has won the Masters. And, I just wanted to hear your guys' opinion, and not that it's good, bad, or indifferent, but how do you feel about that as somebody that is, certainly a loyalist to this tournament, and as we continue to try to grow this tournament locally, regionally, nationally, globally, is that a good thing for the Players Championship, or is that a bad thing?
I'll go first. And again, I'm glasses half full guy, so I try to find the positive in anything. So I'd probably find positive even if I didn't think that. But I think it's marvelously positive because I think it lumps the players in. I mean, what people are saying about Rory right now is he's winning the big ones. Look, he won at Pebble, which is he, in his words, one of the cathedrals of golf. If the tournament may not be, but certainly the course is. He won here, which we all think is one of the best tournaments in the world, and next to Augusta, the most famous golf course in America, and so with the most famous hole in America, and he won that, and then he went and won the Masters, the most important golf tournament in the world. So to me, not that we need it elevated, but it elevates us even more because we are now paired in the same conversation with the Masters, which is the greatest event in the world. So I think it only elevates the players, and that's my. I don't know what you think, but that's what I think.
I think it absolutely elevates it because I think you guys should declare the Players Championship a major. I just don't think there'd
and
be
you've
that.
Always said that,
yeah. And but I really don't think there'd. 10 years ago, it would have been hard to do without there being a ton of backlash. Now I think there would be backlash, but I think it would be so minimal. And when you've got champions like Scheffler and McIlroy, I just think that really adds to the credibility of we all know there's no reason the Players Championship isn't a major other than the fact that it hasn't been around for 90 years, but it has everything else. And so, yeah, I think it enhances it as opposed to, not to be offensive, but if Stephen Ames had won it and Tim Clark had won it the last 2 years, that didn't help the Players Championship. It's great for them and congratulations, and they're deserving champions. But it didn't do anything for the tournament. But when Scottie Scheffler and Rory Scheffler won it twice in a row. So your last 3 champions have been, beyond Hall of Fame players. Scheffler will get in. Rory's absolutely going to be a Hall of Fame player. So, yeah, I think it makes it easier. You've always said Tiger would need to weigh in and say, I think it should be a major. That's important. But golf's always been, what do the top players, what do the generational players think? Their opinion really matters. And to have Rory and Scheffler have such a great history there with Tiger, I think it enhances it because to me it's a major. It's just not. It doesn't make any sense to me.
What do you think?
Yeah, I agree with that. You can see folks, again, this is all just kind of anecdotal conversations around the community. You can see the side that says we don't want to share our champion with anybody, especially another tournament that, is considered a little bit different. I think all of us here wouldn't necessarily say it's better or worse. It's certainly extremely popular. But at the same time, I think, Hays, your point also of if J.J. Spawn would have won the Players' Championship as an example,
right,
and then a month later gone on to win the Masters, that would have justified J.J. Spawn as an extremely large and popular champion and solidified his place in the game by going and winning the Masters. So it would have been a great thing for us. Now all of a sudden, with superstars winning the tournament, having to share sometimes is just the other side of it. But I totally agree. I think, we always talk about our tournament being a one of one, and it kind of lives in a different ecosystem. But when you certainly want your tournament to be on the same level and live in that premier golf event world, having the same champion win both of those, and then just think if he goes on and wins the PGA Championship, now all of a sudden we start to not only talk about the Grand Slam, but the Super Slam or whatever they want to call it with the Players Championship as well.
I will say this, and I do think it's been enhanced that the last 3 years. It's been Scheffler, and McIlroy. I think that
doesn't hurt. That doesn't hurt.
I think, and golf purists will tell me I've lost my mind, and my many friends from the PGA of America, and I have many that have been involved in some capacity with that wonderful organization, will want to punch me.
Well, you're sitting next to one.
Yeah, I know, and I know that. But I think it's a more significant tournament than the PGA. That's my opinion. It's not more significant than the U.S. Open. It doesn't have the heritage of the Open Championship, the British Open. But I think it is more significant than the PGA. Me personally, and maybe I'll live here. But have I lost my mind to think that?
No, I think there's a lot of people that would think similarly, Frank, because. There's one thing about, you said it earlier, about a golf tournament not moving, playing the same iconic golf course year in and year out. The back end of that field, there's 20 of us playing PGA professionals. So, which is a great perk and a great opportunity for those of us that work club jobs that are good players to qualify for an event at that level. But it changes spots, it changes locations, and I from a purse standpoint, it's different. All of those types of things, I think you can start to pick and choose. I mean, I was even speaking to somebody this morning about they went up to Augusta for the first time this year, and they were trying to compare the fan experience between up at Augusta and here at Players. And they were in the highest level hospitality venues that you can be at Augusta, and their point was it was awesome, great to be there the first time, but the ability to be in a hospitality venue and watch golf, and not be in a hospitality venue or watch golf is a big difference.
Without a doubt. In terms of Rory and pursuing the Grand Slam, he's got to love his chances next month at the PGA Quail Hollow, where he's won 4 Wells Fargo events. How do you, in your opinion, is he even beyond a heavy favorite?
Well, I think, there's no doubt that he'll be a favorite for that event. Obviously, the final one at the Open at Portrush, which is hometown, so to speak. So, look, as it sets up, he couldn't ask for a better run. I think it's great that he's taken this week off to go and celebrate, decompress, probably breathe into a paper bag for a couple of days, and have a good time. But I think you'll see him again. So is it next week is Zurich, which he'll play with Shane Lowry, a fun, 2-person event that they're defending champions down there in New Orleans. So he's not going to take a ton of time off, but I think it'll be great to, for him. I mean, again, he can't be playing any better, going into the next major, I would assume.
I want to ask you about the Players and any updates where we are as you start already thinking about 26. But one final thing about all this. Give me a view or your opinion of where other players are. Scheffler, DeChambeau, other guys of note. What are they doing well? What are they not doing well? Scheffler seems to be off his game a bit by his standards. Mm-hmm. What do you see when you watch him?
Fourth in the Masters, and he's off his game. Right. Yeah, I think one thing, obviously, Scotty played well today. think one thing about that everybody has to remember about Augusta is that it's just a knife's edge with every single shot.
Right.
Tee shots, approach shots into the greens on the right levels. You saw some putts. I mean, who was it that putted up 16 and came right back down? Terrell Hatton, maybe. Yeah. You're just such on a razor's edge there that it's such a fine line between a good shot and a bad shot. I don't really take a ton of stock out of there of somebody playing poorly. I think Scotty is ready. I think just knocking just a little bit of rust and just finishing out. He always so focused on fundamentals. I think knock some of those. I think Bryson is as popular. I think one thing that Bryson may have got out of is he in that tournament he stopped playing his game, his bomb and gouge, aggressive. And all of a sudden started to kind of play what Augusta calls for, as opposed to what got him there was, I was very surprised when he hit iron on number 3.
Yeah.
Ended up making bogey. I think he just gets out of, hey, I got to start playing golf like this golf course tells you to do, or what people tell you to do, as opposed to this is how I got here. And so I think him getting back and playing some of those to where he plays his game. I think they're all, right there, ready to go.
What's up with the players these days? What are you guys working on, thinking about, planning for the whole bit?
Yeah, recap season, Frank. We're meeting with all partners and volunteer teams and all the surveys that I've talked about in the past. Reviewing where we went right, where we went wrong, what things we need to change. One of the things this time of year is always focused on. Are there going to be some golf course capital projects? Are there going to be some fan enhancement projects that we'll invest in to continue to build on the experience for players, fans? That Rory mentioned is so good. I think one of the quotes we hang our hat on is that he made mention of what I think his exact quote was, what the tour does here. Year after year, is it just keeps getting better and better, and not only are we proud of that, but we take that kind of as an obligation to work year to year. And we're only about 2 weeks, May 10th from the Redcoat Grant program opening up. So for those organizations out there following, and the Redcoats being a big part of what we do and how this tournament has grown, it's always great to see. Worthwhile organizations in the local community apply for those grants and get some money for them.
And we'll tell people more about that when we get closer to it. Lee Smith, our golf analyst, the executive director of the Players. Lee, thanks, buddy.
Thank you, sir.
When we come back, we'll go into running backs and tight ends room of the Jaguars. Stay with us.
It's the ride home with the Frangie Show from the Harrell and Harrell studio. Don't settle for less than you deserve.
Frank Frangie here for Nimnick Buick GMC. You can experience professional grade at Nimnick Buick GMC, home of the largest inventory of GMC Sierras in Northeast Florida and Southeast Georgia. This month, save up to $10,000 off select new GMC Sierra 1500s or enjoy rates as low as 0% APR financing. That's right, 0%. You heard me right. Now, look, you can't find deals like this anywhere else in Jacksonville. Nimnick also has the largest selection of GMC's impressive SUV lineup, like the all-new redesigned GMC Acadia and the highly sought-after Yukon and Yukon XL. Curious about an EV? Save big with the all-new GMC Hummer EV, SUV, and truck. You get it. Nobody's got better stuff than Nimnick. Now's the time to experience professional grade at Nimnick Buick GMC. So who has put the most years and stands behind a better experience? Well, the answer is simple. Nobody but Nimnick. We are professional grade GMC.
1010XL takes you behind the microphone.
I think you need to calm down. I can't be calm. No.
Dan Hicken and Jeff Prosser.
I'm the master of the mechanical stuff.
Mornings on 1010XL.
This is Hays Carlyon from my friend Holt at Harrell & Harrell. There doesn't seem to be enough time in the day to get everything done. Then you get injured in an accident and you don't know what you're going to do. Let Harrell & Harrell make it easy for you. Easy on becoming a client. You can just text or email if you want. Easy on finding a doctor and getting through the process. Hopefully you won't need them, but if you're ever injured, call Harrell & Harrell and make it easy on yourself. Call them at 904-251-1111. That's 251-1111.
This is Rich Miller with your Showtime Sports Cards and Collectibles Update. This Saturday is our monthly card show, Inside Showtime, with 20 tables of selection ranging from football cards to Pokemon cards. From 9 a.m. to 4 p.m. This Saturday, it's an in-store card show at Showtime Sports Cards and Collectibles. Update your collection.
Are you looking for the best lunch specials in town? Check out One Night Taco Stand. They have bold and flavorful options on your favorite Mexican dishes at prices you can't beat. Try the Taco Trio. Choose any 3 of their specialty tacos or street tacos for just $9.99. Find a Taco Tuesday special every day at One Night Taco Stand, Mandarin, Orange Park, and Southside at Bay Meadows.
Poker players, the Run Good Poker Series is coming to Best Bet Jacksonville from April 24th to May 4th with 10 poker events, including the $1,200 main event, hosting a $300,000 guaranteed prize pool, and event number 1, a $400 no-limit hold'em tourney with a $200,000 guarantee. The action is non-stop. One in, win your seat through satellite starting April 4th at Best Bet Jacksonville. For all the Run Good Series structures and details, visit bestbetjacks.com. That's bestbetjacks.com.
Let AA Automotive and 1010XL guide you through the off-season. Who are Jacksonville's top prospects?
I know these players.
Listen for draft previews brought to you by Big Brothers Big Sisters of Northeast Florida and Hurricane Grill and Wings.
Imagine enjoying the beautiful days of summer in North Florida, relaxing in your enclosed patio, free from bugs and debris. I'm Josh Molina, owner of River City Screens. We are your trusted local screen experts. We pride ourselves in our craftsmanship and our relationships, because with Florida's unpredictable weather, you want someone dependable and reliable to show up for you every time. New construction or repairs, call River City Screens, 904-923-3544.
License number SCC 131153483. Are you ready for some exciting football action? Your Jacksonville Sharks take on the Massachusetts Pirates Saturday, April 19th. Get family 4-packs, 4 tickets, 4 $10 vouchers, and a $20 Al's Pizza gift card, all for only $100. Don't miss the unforgettable Frisbee Dogs, and keep an eye out for the Easter Bunny. A fun night for the kids. Get tickets at jacksharks.com or call 904-621-0700. 904-621-0700.
Prosser here. The Jacksonville Sharks are 3-0 and ready to make it 4-0 this weekend as your Jacksonville Sharks take on the Massachusetts Pirates this Saturday. Get our family 4-packs, 4 tickets, 4 $10 vouchers, and a $20 Al's Pizza gift card, all for just $100. Don't miss the unforgettable Frisbee Dogs and keep an eye out for the Easter Bunny. For tickets, go to jacksharks.com or call 904-621-0700. That's 904-621-0700. And go Sharks! Go Sharks!
We're giving away free AC inspections to our wonderful customers who now call and schedule. But you must act today. A deal this good won't last forever. Call 904-862-6769. DuckDuckAC.com. Any required repairs are not included in the inspection.
Living on Amelia Island? Having fun in Fernandina Beach? No matter what brings you to the fun, cozy town, make sure you check out the tap room at Mocama Beer Company. With a full flight of craft creations, from the Cosmico IPA to the Motor, the perfect pilsners and lagers, matching memories and some Mocama magic is what it's all about. Mocama Beer Company in Fernandina Beach, near the big water where the sun is born. And look for more Mocama craft at your local Total Wine or ABC Liquors.
New and pre-owned firearms are always in stock at Beach's Jewelry and Pawn in Jacksonville Beach. Want a new sidearm or rifle? Brands like Kimbar, Smith & Wesson, Sig Sauer, and Beretta. No lines, no hassle. Beach's Jewelry and Pawn in Jacksonville Beach.
1010XL is presented by Farah & Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Protecting you and your family. Call 396-5555. Jacksonville. Now, Hammer Time with Hays. Driven by Southside Kia. Online at southsidekiajacks.com.
I was going to do this yesterday, and then it was Bill Belichick's birthday, and so we held off so that Bill could enjoy his special day. But I can't be silent any longer. Bill Belichick, what are you doing, allowing your girlfriend to come on the football practice field? I mean, what is going on with Bill Belichick? I mean, it's so, and I'm a Belichick fan. But it's like, what is happening to him? I mean, it's the Athletic. Matt Baker did an interesting story on the emails. Belichick's girlfriend, Jordan Hudson, it was CC'd in on per Belichick's request. Any email that comes to me needs to go also to her. And the Athletic, through public records request, got some of these emails. And, Hudson is sending an email saying that there needs to be a separation between Bill and his son, Steven Belichick, so that it doesn't appear that Steven got the job as defensive coordinator because he's Bill's son. What are we doing? Of course, that is why he has the job. North Carolina can do their best to try to, not include Steven in a picture with Bill. But, everybody knows why he's North Carolina's defensive coordinator. They got upset. They sent an email to North Carolina that North Carolina wasn't doing a good enough job blocking and responding to negative comments about Belichick. When did Bill Belichick, he turned 73 yesterday. When did he turn into a total child? I get that his feelings were hurt, that the NFL wanted nothing to do with him. And I think that was a mistake. I think Bill Belichick could still be a very big-time asset for a team in the NFL. But no owner wanted to hand him the power. And that's their prerogative. But, it seems like Belichick is just melting down. Like, I think he's going to be good at North Carolina because he's such a better coach than anybody else in that conference. But I'm starting to really wonder about where his mental is. And this doesn't have anything to do with the age discrepancy between Belichick and his girlfriend. They're both adults. If that's what he wants to do and she wants to do, fine. But to have her be such a presence on the football field, it's just ridiculous to me.
The hoodie's trying to live his best life now. I hear you, though. I hear you. Fair enough. That is Hammer Time. And that is with my man, Hays. Well done, as always. Let's get into the Jaguars running back room. All right. We told you we're going to do running backs and tight ends. Let's start with running backs. Right now, the running backs on the roster, Travis Etienne, a first-round draft pick. Tank Bigsby, a third-round draft pick. Keelan Robinson, who's really never played, but he was a fifth-round draft pick. How's the room look, and how could it be affected by the draft? What do you think of the room, first of all?
I think the room is sufficient. I don't know that it's a dazzling room, but, I think Etienne has had moments where he has played well. He's still a young player. So, I don't think you have to worry about tread on the tires at this point. He averaged 3.7 yards a carry last year, and that's substandard. Only had 2 rushing touchdowns. Obviously had the fumble against Miami that somehow sunk an entire professional football team. But I still think there's a good enough player there. And then you've got Tank Bigsby, who was a very healthy 4.6 yard average with 7 touchdowns on the ground, with an offensive line that really didn't do a fantastic job, with an offense that I think was pretty stagnant and lacked a lot of creativity. So, I look at it and I think I'm not really expecting much out of Keelan Robinson. So I would draft a back, but I don't look at it as a position where, oh boy, they're in really bad shape at running back. I would give Etienne and Bigsby that combination. I think it's a solid B when you look at the other 31 clubs and what they have in the backfield. So I don't see it as a monster need. I think it's a need, but to me, it's not one of their primary needs.
I think Tank Bigsby, if he can hang on to the ball, and that's a big if, is a better NFL running back than Travis Etienne. I think they're both good backs. I think Tank Bigsby is the kind of downhill runner that you get the impression they want when they say they've got to get back to the ground game. Travis Etienne's a good player. He's a very good player in space. He's very good in the screen game. He's explosively fast. If he gets into the open field, forget about it. But I think in terms of downhill running, which is what I like to think they want to get back to, I think Tank Bigsby's the guy. I don't know that Travis is the guy. I don't sense that Keelan Robinson's that guy. I think they drafted him to be a kick returner and at best a third down back. That's what they've got now. So there's no doubt in my mind they're going to draft a guy. The question becomes, do they draft Ashton Jeanty at 5 overall, which is as we've said all along, getting a little bit of attention. We'll see whether or not that happens or not. I don't think they're going to right now, but I could change my mind tomorrow. But I think it's an area they could draft a player. The other thing is, it is a very deep draft at running back. It's a good running back draft, so I think they could. So I'll say on my list of my grades of the needs there, I'll say B-, but I'll certainly say B- is where I think they are. Let's get to tight end, the tight end room. Right now, Brenton Strange will be the starter. Johnny Munt was a free agent they signed. Hunter Long is a free agent they signed. And that's about it. Sean Bowman and Patrick Murtaugh are 2 undrafted guys on the team. At tight end, what do you think of their room now, and how might it be affected by the draft?
The draft is very deep at tight end, but I just don't think the Jaguars are going to be able to take advantage of it without sacrificing something that's a much bigger need. I think at tight end, they've been very complimentary of Brenton Strange, so why not give him a look? Give him a year where he's the main guy there. He's a young player, and if this staff seems to be, I mean, they brought him up unsolicited to us. I think the first time was at like the combine, but Brenton Strange has come up multiple occasions, whether it's James Gladstone or Liam Cohen. So, so I would see what you have there. And then in free agency, you added a couple journeymen that are familiar with the system that should help. So Initially, I thought they should draft the tight end and take advantage of the fact that it's such a deep class. And it is a deep class, but it's really it's deep because there's like 7 guys that probably are worthy of going in the 3rd round. But if I'm the Jaguars with one of those first 4 picks, I've got 4 picks in the first 3 rounds, I've got to go elsewhere. I mean, I just have bigger fish to fry in this draft. So, maybe they take a tight end, in round 5, round 6. I mean, I certainly could advocate for that, but it's not going to be one of this top 6-7 group that is very impressive.
I agree with you on that. I don't think they have a tight. The fact that they did bring in 2 free agent tight ends, 20% of their free agent class, when they brought in Johnny Munt and Hunter Long, tells me that's how they're going to go this year with tight ends, with Brenton Strange as your starter and the move tight end and the other 2 guys as the backups. I think there's a chance they draft one, but I don't think they draft one that's going to have a big impact on this year's team. So I'll go D there in terms of their needs. So we have gone A- for wide receiver. I've gone B- for running back needs. This isn't the quality of the position, it's needs. I'll go D on tight end needs because I don't sense that that's a position that they will get an elite player. Again, I think they may get a guy, but I don't sense it's an elite player. I think, to your point, there's other needs. And again, they signed 2 free agents. I feel the same way about offensive line. You're going to have offensive line on Friday or tomorrow show higher than I'm going to have it because they signed 4 guys. That doesn't mean they're not going to go get one, but they signed 4 guys. So I think what they did in free agency might be an indicator of what they might not do in the draft. So, but it'll be interesting to see. And again, when you talk about running backs in the draft, look, there's a lot of guys, but I think the storyline is, I mean, there's you can go 7 or 8 deep and get a pretty good running back in this draft, and I think they're going to do that. I think you'll see a running back in maybe the second day, certainly early in the 3rd day. But the question is all about, are they the team that takes Ashton Jeanty? And by the way, that story will continue throughout the week next week too, I think.
It will. We always, in every draft is the same. There's a starting point, then it changes a lot as the draft process goes on. Then you get to what I'd say the quarter turn here. We're almost to the finish line. And that's when it gets really nutty, and then it settles down and ends up being exactly what you thought it was going to be in January. And so that's where I think we are now. Could they take Ashton Jeanty? Sure. Could it be justified? Yes. Is it the right move? Probably not. And I think ultimately it's hard because this is Gladstone's first time doing this. It's Liam Cohen's first time doing this. It's Baselli's first time doing this. So it's unpredictable because of that. But I just can't believe that an organization where the EVP is saying publicly we're at ground zero, I just don't see an organization that feels like that's where they are, taking a running back at 5 when you know the shelf life is just not going to be awfully high.
The back that got our attention, obviously, Travion Henderson is a really good back. Omarion Hampton from North Carolina is regarded as second best back. I haven't seen him much. I saw Henderson a bunch. Cam Scadaboo, the player that everybody's talked about a lot. I don't know how good he is. Everyone's talking about him. I really like Dylan Sampson from Tennessee. I think he's a very good player. I saw him a lot. And R.J. Harvey out of UCF is a pretty good player. So it'll be.
And those are third-round guys.
Yeah, and I think they'll do that. And I think the Jags will add a running back, preferably a run between the tackles running back. Travis Etienne's going to be on the team. He's got a year left in that deal. I think he's going to be on the team. Tank Bigsby's going to be a downhill runner. I think they will add a downhill runner to the one downhill runner they've got and balance him with the third down back they've got, which I think is Travis Etienne. So we'll see what they do. We'll take a break. Let's talk some college hoops after this. Stay with us.
The Frangie Show from the Harold and Harold studio. Don't settle for less than you deserve.
She's very comfortable talking sports and hanging out with the boys.
What position do I play?
You can't play?
Why not?
Mia O'Brien.
Women like her don't come along every day.
Weekdays noon to 2
That makes me rather dangerous.
on 1010XL.
Get ready for the best prices ever on all diamond stud earrings and all tennis bracelets at Beard's Diamonds. For 7 days, April 21st through 27th, you will get up to 40% off. Yes, 40%. Locally owned Beard's Diamonds always beats the big corporate store prices. But next week, they're taking value to a whole new level. All diamond stud earrings and all tennis bracelets are on sale. Big time. Best prices ever. You save up to 40%. Don't miss this first time ever buying opportunity. Next week only, and only at Beard's Diamonds, St. John's Town Center. Shop local, shop Beard's.
$5,000. That's the average amount of money people in the U.S. are now spending on gas in a year. $5,000. That's crazy. If you drive, you have to download Upside, the free app that gives you cash back every time you get gas. That's right. You can earn real cash back with Upside just by buying the gas you're already buying. You can literally start earning cash back today.
I use Upside every time I fill up, and I've already made around $300.
You're putting gas in your car anyway. Why not get real cash back? If you like free money, download Upside.
I'm saving the cash I earn from using Upside to help pay for a vacation later this year.
Download the free Upside app now to earn cash back every time you buy gas. Use promo code WEALTH to get an extra 25 cents per gallon on your first tank. You can cash out anytime right to your bank, PayPal, or a gift card for Amazon and other brands. Just download the free Upside app and use promo code WEALTH for a 25 cents per gallon bonus on your first tank. That's code WEALTH for a 25 cents per gallon bonus.
Prosser here. Spring has sprung, and it's a great time to sell your house, but only if you have the very best on your side, and those very best are Chad and Sandy Newman. Spring selling season's here. Rates are down. Activity's up. It's the best time in years to sell your home, in fact, but there are homes sitting on the market. They don't have the right representation. That's where Chad and Sandy step in. Maybe you're worried your home needs repairs or updating and it won't sell for a good price. Maybe your family's growing and you need more space. Whatever the reason that you need to sell your home, Chad and Sandy deliver this promise to you. Chad and Sandy guarantee your home sold at an agreed-upon price and deadline, or they will buy it. Sounds pretty hassle-free to me. Take it from Mike and Rosemary in St. Augustine. We were determined to buy an affordable home in a specific school zone, but we didn't qualify for the loan needed to get one. Chad and Sandy's team worked with the lender, negotiated a higher qualification price, lower interest. It was huge, $200 less per month. Do it today. Call 414-6200 or go to chadandsandy.com.
At Performance Painting, we've spent decades protecting commercial properties with durable, long-lasting coatings. And we can bring the same expertise when painting the exterior of your home. With industry-leading materials and a proven process, we extend the life of your home, reducing maintenance costs and preserving its value. Now, for a limited time, save $500 when you hire us to paint your home's exterior. Just mention 1010XL. Go to performancepainting.com to schedule a friendly estimate. Performance Painting. Repair, protect, preserve.
Performance Painting. Mia O'Brien.
Don't I know you from somewhere? On Helmets and Heels, noon to 2.
I swear to you, I know her.
Then there's the 1010XL video and social media channels.
I would know her voice anywhere.
All Things Mia is driven by Arlington Toyota.
On 1010XL.
The restaurant of the day is the Great Greek Mediterranean Grill. Get a Greek Feast family combo meal tray with chicken skewers, gyro meat, dolmades, and more. Feed 4 to 6 people for just $49.95. Feed 8 to 10 for just $99.95. The Great Greek Mediterranean Grill.
The flagship station of the Jacksonville Jaguars. WJXL AM Jacksonville Beach. WJXL FM Jacksonville Beach.
guys, your lawn's the home field. Now you can champion your St. Augustine grass. TopDressing.com just hit Jacksonville with a game-changing patented process. Aerate and transform your turf into a fairway-worthy masterpiece. Less water, shorter cuts, and the envy of every neighbor. No one else delivers a perfect 10 lawn like this. Visit TopDressing.com and dominate your block with the same process that golf courses use. Top dress your lawn like the pros with TopDressing.com.
Is your backyard ready for the big leagues? Pick it here for Surfside Pools. Serving Northeast Florida since 1977, they have the home field advantage. Family owned and operated, offering weekly pool service, equipment repairs, commercial maintenance, remodels, and new pool construction. Let Surfside Pools make your backyard dreams a reality. Are you ready to float happy? Visit SurfsidePools.net or call 904-246-2666. Surfside Pools and Spas, your hometown MVP.
License number CPC 044080.
Cool boats, hot prices at the Jacksonville Spring Boat Show, April 25th, 26th, and 27th at Metropolitan Park. Fishing seminars, kids events, and more. Presented by Jacksonville Chrysler Jeep Dodge Ram Westside. Tickets and info at boatjacks.com. That's boatjacks.com.
Bueller. Stay cooler with Bueller.
Hey man, what's that noise?
Do you hear it too? You can hear it, right?
Yeah, it's your air conditioner. It's like a grinding or a rattling.
And it's getting on your nerves, right? Like it's eating at your brain and you can't think straight? But it just keeps grinding and squeaking and taunting and nagging. You're not good enough. You're a failure. Why can't you be more like your sister, the lawyer?
Yeah, I don't hear that last part so much.
Yeah, but it's not cool, right, Jason?
It could definitely be cooler. At Bueller Air and Plumbing, we can totally repair whatever that noise is and get your AC working smoothly and silently. We fix these things all the time.
So I won't be a failure?
Life should be enjoyed. If some irritating, broken air conditioner is making you crazy, you could miss it.
Stay cooler with Bueller.
Visit BuellerAir.com.
I'm Max Fink with your 1010XL Southeast Orthopedic Specialist local sports update brought to you by Awaken 180. Just days after winning a national championship in his third season at Florida, Todd Golden gets his first win of next season by bringing in one of the best guards in the portal, Xavion Lee out of Princeton. The dynamic guard, who comes from Toronto, is a two-time first-team All-Ivy League player at Princeton, averaging 16.9 points per game, 6.1 rebounds, and 5.5 assists per game, and recorded the first two triple-doubles in program history at Princeton. Lee chose Florida over schools like St. John's and Kansas, as Golden hits big in the portal again, as we've seen him capitalize on prospects such as Walter Clayton Jr., Elijah Martin, and Will Richard. In other transfer portal news, Georgia wide receiver Nitro Tuggle, who was arrested for reckless driving back in March, has entered his name. The former four-star will have 3 years of eligibility remaining. It's 77 degrees at 5:04. Time and temp brought to you by Bueller Air and Plumbing. Stay cooler with Bueller.
1010XL is presented by Farah and Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Protecting you and your family. Call 396-5555. Jacksonville.
It's a Stanley Pools Thursday on The Frangie Show. Since 1988, the experts in pools, pavers, screen enclosures, it's Stanley Pools.
All right, hour two of the program comes around. Frank Frangie, Hays Carlyon, JJ La Selva with you as we move along. Let's talk about this Xavion Lee thing. You just heard Max read it in the update. Xavion Lee, the former Princeton guard. Think about it. You never thought you'd be excited about a Princeton guard. Well, you just should have gotten pretty excited about an Iona guard. That worked out okay. It almost seems, I said this at the top of the program, that Florida has evolved into, Hays, as at least for today, the rich get richer. Now, we haven't been that in basketball very often. Even when the team won back-to-back national titles, it wasn't that. It wasn't a rich get richer. It was a good, really good program, well coached by Billy Donovan that seemed to go to the Elite Eight every year and made a few Final Fours and won a few titles. But that's how this feels. It almost felt like, again, the one, I don't remember who wrote it. I think it was the Field of 68 guy, when his post on X was, they really let Florida get Xavion Lee. That's almost like saying, really? They just let Georgia get another defensive lineman. They just let Alabama get another running back, whatever. It's how it feels today. is that Florida, this overachieving. By the way, you know where they picked to finish in the SEC? Do you remember where? Where they were last year? Yeah, preseason. Sixth. They were picked to finish sixth in the SEC, sixth in their own conference. And now all of a sudden, they are the rich getting richer, seems to be what people think. They will start the year next year in the top 10, possibly the top 5, I believe.
Yeah, I would say so. I mean, in terms of their front court, it's incredible. I mean, we'll see what it ends up becoming. Condon has entered the draft. Chinlelu has entered the draft, but both have maintained their collegiate eligibility. I would anticipate they both return, which gives you four bigs that are sensational. And, it was all going to come down to how much can you replace the greatest player that the university has ever had in Walter Clayton Jr. You're losing 18.3 points a game. You're losing 4.2 assists. You're losing, I think, a better than he's credited for defender and somebody that shoots the three at 38.6% last season. Well, you've kind of added that in Xavier Lee. Not that he's Walter Clayton. They're different kind of players, but Lee is definitely got the same kind of scoring ability from everywhere on the court. And I don't know that anybody will be as smooth as Walter Clayton Jr. to ever wear the orange and blue again. But Xavier Lee looks like, I mean, if you were worried about it being a stratospheric drop-off, there's nothing to suggest in Lee's film that will be the case. Now, obviously, he's going up against in a much tougher conference, and we'll see. But he also doesn't have to carry so much of the load. And Princeton was a good team. They won like 19 games, so it wasn't like they were terrible. And but now you put Lee with Denzel Aberdeen, who is ready to blossom to become a star. Denzel Aberdeen is not just a okay college player, a decent a guy that if you have to start him, okay. But Denzel Aberdeen, I think, is going to be phenomenal. He only played 19.7 minutes on average last season, averaging 7.7 points. What's that going to look like when he's playing 29 to 32 minutes a game? I mean, I think he's somebody that can absolutely get to where Elijah Martin was, which was 14.4 points per game scoring. And looking at what Lee is walking into, you've got a brilliant offensive coach. You've got a program that expects to win at a very high level, and look at the teammates he's going to have. He's not going to have to carry the load every single night, and when he does distribute the ball, he's got bigs that can all finish. So, I mean, I think it's a match made in heaven, in terms of the on paper fit. I mean, so much more goes into it than that, but I think if you're Florida, you have to be ecstatic about where your team sits right now. I mean, I'm not even really counting on any of the freshmen doing anything.
But here's the deal. I will tell you that Cornelius Ingram, C.J. Ingram is going to do stuff. I will because we've forgotten that sometimes freshmen contribute because the game's changed with the portal years have changed the game. But the great freshmen still contribute. The teams with great freshmen, even if they're there for 1 year and then they go to the NBA. I just looked at the ESPN way too early. This is before Xavier Lee committed. And Florida 18th.
Right.
Listen, I'm being a homer here, but are you kidding?
Yeah, I mean, if it was Kansas bringing this front court back,
yeah,
they'd be preseason number 2
right.
at worst.
Yeah, but good. I'd let them have the chip on their shoulder again. Start them at 18. Go ahead and start them at 18 again. But I just feel like, and again, he's just a transfer. We haven't seen him play in a Florida uniform, and I'm not discounting this. That one of the main reasons they won that national championship was the alignment, chemistry, camaraderie, which doesn't always happen even with a lot of good players. In fact, more times than not, it does not happen with a lot of good players. I'll also tell you that Xavier Lee, we were joking with Lee Smith about it, he is a guy that has the ball. He's like Zion Pullen. He's going to dominate the ball. The offense will be him dribbling a lot and driving a lot and then passing off and someone shooting. That's not how Walter Clayton played point guard. Walter Clayton brought the ball up and got it out of his hands very quickly and then wound up getting it back for an open three. He was almost like a two-guard playing point guard that got the ball out of his hands and so he could get it back and catch and shoot. That won't be the case here with Xavier Lee. He plays more like Pullen. He's going to have the ball, but he's a ball now. He won't be as ball dominant when he's got better players on his team. But I'll also say this. So number one, will that chemistry work like it did last year so famously? Number two, I think Condon will come back. I'm not as confident as I was when I saw his farewell post on Instagram. Usually you don't see those until the guy's definitely leaving. I don't remember Clayton or Will Richard, who were testing the waters, posting one of those. I haven't seen Chinyalu post one this year. That almost tells me that he expects to be gone. I don't think either.
I think Chinyalu did post one this morning.
He posted one. Okay,
yeah.
Then maybe that's the thing.
Yeah.
I did not know that. I will also tell you that I think definitely Will Richard and probably Walter Clayton Jr. expected to come back last year, even though they tested the waters. I would guess that Ruben Chinyalu expects to come back next year, even though he tested the waters. I've said that all along about Condon. I'm wondering now, and maybe you're right, maybe that's just the thing to do now, but now there's a side of me that's not sure he's coming back. Make no mistake about this. They will be way better if Condon comes back. Even though Houck's a better shooter, more skilled player, even though Houck at the three could be challenging defensively, because can he chase one of those three guards? When he's playing those teams that play three guards like Florida did, can he chase one of those guards around? But make no mistake, you're a way better team with a really good 7-footer who's thinking about coming back. So it'll be interesting to see. But my point is not about how good they'll be, even though I do plan to go to Indianapolis and hit St. Elmo's on that Friday night before the Final Four, just so you know. But my point is about they now are the team that people are going, did they really get him? They are now the team. How many years, if you follow college basketball recruiting, how many years, when
they're not done.
Yeah, well, that's right. But when Gilgeous-Alexander was going to be there, you wanted him, but you knew he's going to Kentucky.
Right.
I mean, how many times did Kentucky got him? Of course they did. North Carolina got him. Of course they did. Of course he went to Duke. Of course he went. Well, Florida's not been that school, but I think this commitment had that feel to it. That's the point.
It absolutely did. And, again, in looking at it, it also helps that you're paying these guys a lot of money. Everybody is. You're in a state with no income tax. That matters. That's tens of thousands of dollars that these athletes are saving. So it helps with that. It helps that you're going to a system in which you're going to have a top 10 offense in the nation when it comes to scoring. You're going to play with a good tempo, but you also know you're going to a coach that if the game gets slowed down and gets a little bit more of a street fight feel, like the Tennessee games, like certainly Houston, that coaching staff is able to combat that and still get out of there with a win. There's just not much to not like about Florida. And if you're a 20-year-old, Florida has basically been a national title contender for a lot of your life. I mean, you grew up with them basically having just won back-to-back titles. They went to a Final Four in 2014, and now you've got, this run. So you can ring chase. So it has everything. They can pay you. You're going to do better on your taxes here. You can ring chase at Florida. You're playing in a fun offensive system that can also be very good defensively. They were top 10 defensive efficiency this past season. So it's a well-rounded program. And again, it's the next bit of ammunition that Todd Golden will have is Walter Clayton looks like he's going to definitely go in the first round, so they'll be able to sell the developmental piece. And we'll see with Condon. I think it was Jeff Goodman was talking about Condon online today, and he brought up a good point. Condon's NCAA tournament was so bad at times that he believes that it will be really tough for him to enter the draft, just because the lasting images of Condon, particularly in the first half of the national title game, where he basically looked like he got the yips and forgot that you had to dribble the basketball.
That's right. He was not good from a skill standpoint. He really struggled.
Shot really struggled, and that wasn't the only time. Now he did some good things in the second half of that game, and that was sort of he's a tough kid, so he wouldn't just go in the jar for the whole game. But he really struggled in the final stretch of the championship run, and so he has all the potential to make a huge leap up draft boards with another year. And again, it's not like the old days where it's like, well, yeah, but I'm going to get a $5,000 stipend to return to Florida based on the cost of living thing that they had going. I have to go to the NBA. I have to try. I have to hope I'll be a first-round pick. That's not the case. He's going to be a millionaire in Gainesville, Florida. So, why would you give up that guaranteed money and then enter the draft where if you're a second-round pick, there's no financial security at all to that?
Yeah. So, and that's what he's got. He knows he's going to have probably a couple $1 million if he stays in Gainesville. He pretty much knows it's probably a $2 million decision. If you go to the NBA, if you're picked, the way they're projecting the 25 draft, if you're the 30th pick, which is the last first round pick, you're probably in that 2.2, 2.5 range. So, you're almost guaranteed that if you go back to Florida. If you're picked 18th, you're probably in the 3.5 range. But if you're not,
who's taking him 18th in the draft?
Correct. And if you're picked after 30, there's no guarantees. You just got to hope the team that really, there's no guaranteed money. There's no scale. You just got to hope somebody likes you. So we'll see what he wants. I think he's coming back too. We'll take a break. When we come back, Hays has headlines. Stay with us.
The Frangie Show from the Harold and Harold studio. Don't settle for less than you deserve.
Frank Frangie here. These days, it's hard to know which companies to trust. But when it comes to banking, I trust South State Bank. South State truly values its customers, and they work hard to create meaningful, lasting relationships. I love going into my local branch. I see the same smiling faces I've seen for years. South State is the largest bank headquartered in Florida, so they're able to offer all the banking services you need. You can trust South State Bank. Banking forward. Member FDIC, equal housing lender.
Jacksonville's home for Florida Gators baseball.
In an Easter weekend series, Florida and Mississippi State go head-to-head on the Hill in Starkville. Friday night, Saturday night, and Sunday afternoon on 10:10 a.m.
I'm Holt Harrell with Harrell & Harrell. Choosing a law firm after an accident is an important decision. So how do you decide? With so many messages on air, I know it can all sound the same. At Harrell & Harrell, we believe what sets us apart is our commitment to you. When you've been injured in an accident, you need help from someone you know, someone you can trust. Harrell & Harrell, a name you know, a name you trust. Don't settle for less than you deserve. Offices, Jacksonville.
After Sunday service, Easter dinner, and the egg hunt, this Easter, bring the family in to hunt for a new ride from Arlington Toyota. That's right, from 2 p.m. through 8 p.m. on Easter Sunday, you can finish off your day by driving home a brand new ride from Arlington. New Toyotas, certified pre-owned Toyotas, premium pre-owned vehicles of all makes and models. It's all at Arlington, ready to fill your Easter basket. Sales open Easter Sunday from 2 p.m. to 8 p.m. Shop in person on Atlantic Boulevard, just quarter-mile east of 295, or online anytime at arlingtontoyota.com.
St. Johns County parents, does your kid have energy to burn? Want them to play a sport for their middle school? Sign up today for the St. John's Middle School Athletic Association. Tackle football, dance, and cheerleading. Who doesn't want their kid to be the next NFL quarterback or dance floor diva? You know how fast your kid can go from playing Xbox to practicing their touchdown dance or sideline cheer? Visit sjmsaa.org. sjmsaa.org.
So, you finally have some time to yourself. Even if it is just the car ride home, it's you time. And look at you. Do not disturb set before you even got in the car? Impressive. You've earned this moment to just chill and drive. This break is brought to you by Target Zero and the Florida Department of Transportation.
Get the real story from people who know the beautiful game best. The Coaches Show, presented by Sporting Jacks with Cole Pepper, Sporting Jacks head of soccer Mark Warburton, and Sporting Jacks women's coach Stacey Ballum. Tuesday nights at 6
on 10:10 a.m.
Hey Jacksonville, Lauren here for Big Chief Tire. Tax season is the perfect time to invest in your vehicle. Use your refund to tackle overdue tire replacements, brake repairs, or routine maintenance. Big Chief Tire's skilled technicians ensure every dollar counts, keeping your car running strong. With 5 convenient locations around town, fair prices, and trusted expertise, they've got you covered. Visit WeKeepJacksRollin.com or call 904-932-0950 to schedule an appointment today. Big Chief Tire keeps Jacks rollin'.
It's tune-up time, and Florida Home AC, the official AC partner of the Jaguars, wants to partner with you for a cool summer season. Tune up your AC unit right now so it's running at peak performance when you need it most. Just call 777-4300 and order a tune-up for just $59. Keep your unit humming at optimal level. Log on to FloridaHomeAC.com and take advantage of their savings. Keep cool with Florida Home AC. That's 777-4300.
Are you ready for some exciting football action? Your Jacksonville Sharks take on the Massachusetts Pirates Saturday, April 19th. Get family 4-packs, 4 tickets, 4 $10 vouchers, and a $20 Al's Pizza gift card, all for only $100. Don't miss the unforgettable Frisbee Dogs and keep an eye out for the Easter Bunny. A fun night for the kids. Get tickets at jacksharks.com or call 904-621-0700. 904-621-0700.
Prosser here. The Jacksonville Sharks are 3-0 and ready to make it 4-0 this weekend as your Jacksonville Sharks take on the Massachusetts Pirates this Saturday. Get our family 4-packs, 4 tickets, 4 $10 vouchers, and a $20 Al's Pizza gift card, all for just $100. Don't miss the unforgettable Frisbee Dogs and keep an eye out for the Easter Bunny. For tickets, go to jacksharks.com or call 904-621-0700. That's 904-621-0700. And go Sharks! Go Sharks!
Blue here for the Blue Crab House, located right off of San Jose. It's on Jewington Creek Road. They've been around since 1996. Indoor-outdoor dining. Also, takeout is available at the Blue Crab House. Open 4:30 to 9, Tuesday through Saturday. Sunday, noon until 9. Remember, Tuesday, $2 margaritas. Wednesday, $1 oyster night. How about the blue crabs? How about my personal favorite, the Canadian snow crabs? Whatever it is that you fancy, you get it right there. The Blue Crab House.
Friendly competition meets great futures. It's the Birdies and Bounces Tournament presented by the Mackenzie Noel Wilson Foundation, Friday, May 9th at the Yards. Where else can a pickleball tournament, 15 holes of golf, food, fun, beverages, raffles, and great activities help a worthy organization like the Boys and Girls Clubs of Northeast Florida, where 59 clubs serve nearly 6,000 youth daily. For tickets and team registration, email Charlie C. at bgcnf.org.
1010XL is presented by Farah & Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Protecting you and your family. Call 396-5555. Jacksonville.
Ladies and gentlemen, may I have your attention, please? Gather round. It's Hays' Headlines, presented by Harrell & Harrell. Don't settle for less than you deserve. Hear all about it. Here's Hays Carlyon.
All right, welcome back to the Frangie Show. Frank Frangie, JJ LaSalva. I'm Hays Carlyon. Thank you to our friends at Harrell & Harrell. Give them a call at 251-1111. Frank, we're going to start with the NFL and the NFL draft. ESPN's Matt Miller polled executives on how the top 10 will shake out in their opinion. I thought this was interesting. So Miller polled executives and basically allowed each one to make a choice in the top 10. But the executive obviously couldn't work for the club that he was picking for, and in most cases didn't even work in the same conference as the team that he was picking for. And it was interesting. The executives went Cam Ward 1, Travis Hunter 2, Abdul Carter 3, Will Campbell 4. That left the Jaguars with Mason Graham at 5. The executive basically point was the defense was terrible last year. They've got to do something to help correct it.
Yeah, I still think that's probably where it'll land, and I think that's where the mocks have all been. And if you ask me to play right now, to predict right now, I would say they're going to wind up. I'd be surprised if they didn't wind up with Mason Graham. Again, the Genty thing is getting some run, but I'd be surprised if it's not Mason Graham, so I'm not surprised by that outcome.
Happy birthday to Jaguars Executive Vice President Tony Baselli. The Hall of Famer turns 53 today.
Dude's getting old, isn't he? That's an old guy.
He's,
hitting
his prime.
He used to be
the EVP 25 years.
He's old. And by the way, let me tell you the disappointing part. Used to be anytime I took a shot at him, he'd be listening and he'd text me. Now he's working
too
too hard.
busy.
He's working too hard. I don't like it. It's
Right.
way more fun when he's not working as hard, and he would text me every time I'd rip
He's
him.
breaking down Armand Membu right now.
That's right, and I don't like it. I'd rather him know that I ripped him. That's what I'd rather.
Let's get it to college basketball. Former Princeton point guard Xavier Lee commits to Florida, assuming he can get in academically. Lee brings a dynamic three-level scoring presence to the backcourt. The 6'4" Canadian averaged 16.9 points per game, along with 6.1 rebounds and 5.5 assists as a junior last season. Lee chose the Gators over St. John's and Kansas.
Yeah, it's a big hit. This is like getting the 5-star running back in the day when you followed recruiting. Now, did you get the right portal guy? You know by now Florida's got their 2 freshmen who are going to be very good. They've got the returning front court, which is very good. They've got one really athletic guard, a very complete guard in Denzel Aberdeen. They needed one more veteran guard to be added. That's what they missed. Now, they'll probably go get another guard. You keep hearing them mentioned with A.J. Brown, which is Isaiah Brown, one of their backup players' brother. I'm assuming that's who they'll get now because that's the name you hear the most. There'll be one more guard who can shoot it. But what they needed more than anything else is a star guard to go with everything else they've got. Star forwards, star freshman to be, and they got it. It's a great time. As Ian Eagle said at the end of the game, it's a great time to be a Gator.
Absolutely. Florida center Ruben Chinlilu has declared for the NBA draft, but will maintain collegiate eligibility. What do you think the odds are that Ruben stays in the draft?
0%. I think Ruben Chinlilu is going to be back at Florida. I've said all along I thought Condon would, and I still think so. You and I just talked about it last segment. But I'm not quite as confident. But if you ask me to guess or bet, I'd guess both are going to be Gators next year.
It does feel like there's a lot of occupancy in that front court to have 4 guys that are all as established as they are, including, Handlogden, who was a starter prior to his injury and then was willing to come off the bench when he burned the red shirt. But obviously, Houck's a starter. Condon would have to be a starter. Chinlilu just started the entire season.
Right.
And I'm sure Handlogden has designs on, not just being a 14-minute game player. Do you think that is it to a point, do you think somebody almost has to go, or could they coexist with all 4?
Sam Alexis has to go.
Right.
But no. I think they can and will expect to exist with those 4. My vision is Thomas Houck will start games at small forward. So Chinlilu, Condon, and Houck are all starters, and Handlock's going to be the backup post guy. Now, they'll play 3 guards a lot, and that'll just work into their rotation. It'll still be the 4 guys rotating up front. So sometimes Houck will bump up to power forward. Sometimes he'll stay at small forward. I think that's how they'll play it. But no, I think they can. And remember, they had those 4 guys this year. It's the same 4. It's just you have to make a starter out of Houck. So that changes the dynamic of how the game begins. But I think as the game moves on, they'll have plenty of minutes for all. Look, they had plenty of minutes for all 4 of them when they were sharing 2 positions. They'll definitely have plenty of minutes for all 4 of them when they're sharing 3 positions.
Yeah, good point. UNF is losing 2 key players to the Big Ten. Josiah Miles heading to Indiana, while Liam Murphy is transferring to Purdue.
Yeah, the Liam Murphy one surprised me a little bit. He's been up and down. Josiah was one of their best players. Indiana thinks they're getting a real good player here. I think now they think they're getting Chaz Lanier, which he's not. They think that the problem is everybody recruiting Josiah thought they were getting this year's Chaz. He's not as good as Chaz, but he's a good player. And listen, that's the life that the mid-majors live. It really is.
Let's get into college football. The NCAA is cracking down on fake injuries designed to slow the game down. Now, if a team has medical personnel enter the field after the ball is spotted, that team will be charged a timeout. If the team does not have a timeout, a 5-yard delay penalty will be assessed. Do you like this?
Yeah, I do. I think too many teams do it. I think the rush to play fast, which all those Big 12 teams started years ago, and to snap it quick and to not huddle, what Josh Heupel does better than anybody, is cause teams to try and counter by cheating. about faking injuries. And yeah, I like the fact that we're taking at least some stand on that. I really do.
Yeah, and I think it'll stop it. You just can't give up the 5 yards, and
Right.
you can't be burning timeout.
Agreed.
So I like it because I think it's a solution that actually will stop the act from happening.
Totally agree.
Let's get into golf. It's a quality field at the RBC Heritage in Hilton Head this week. Justin Thomas shot 10 under 61 to take the lead today. Scotty Scheffler is also off to a strong start with a 7 under 64 tied for second. So buckle up. We might have another great weekend of golf ahead of us.
Yeah, Justin Thomas has showed this year, Hayes, that he can go really low in these tournaments. What he hasn't shown is that he can put 4 good rounds together. That'll be worth watching.
Let's get to the NBA. The Heat win at the Bulls, 109-90 in one of the play-in games in the East. Tyler Hero, who single-handedly cost me a loser Monday.
Love Tyler Hero.
Scored 38 points. Where was that in the NBA Finals 2 years ago?
Favorite player of all
when
time.
he was, sitting out with a hangnail.
Love him. I got his poster.
Yeah, I digress. Tyler Hero, notwithstanding, the Miami Heat move on. They will play Atlanta for the 8th seed tomorrow. Season is over for Chicago.
It's still so goofy how they do it.
It's so bad.
What I take out of that story is I believe in my heart Billy Donovan will return to college coaching at some point. I don't necessarily think it's next year, but I wonder if another failed season for the Bulls will send him back to college now or if at all. That's what I, with all due respect to Miami and Atlanta, my interest level, because I don't think either one of them are going very deep in the playoffs, my interest level is now that Chicago's out, will that send Billy back to the college ranks?
Yeah, and really, you have to be on notice if you're Billy, because it's probably coming in the next 24 hours, you would think, if he's going to get fired.
Yeah,
so
good fired, or is there any chance? Is there a blue blood job available that he would leave of his own volition for? North Carolina is not open. We thought at one point they would, but they re-upped Hubert Davis. Indiana's a blue blood. They just hired their guy. Bill Self isn't going anywhere, even though it was a tough year at the beginning. He's not going anywhere.
He strikes me, though, as a guy that you could look up in 2 months and he said, I'm retiring.
Me too. But at least for today.
But that's the job. If I was Billy Donovan, I would want
no
it.
question. And so there's no blue blood jobs available, and he's probably not getting fired this year. But that was my first thought when Chicago's eliminated.
The Mavericks stayed alive, beating the Kings 120-106. Anthony Davis scored 27. Dallas now takes on Memphis for the West 8 seed.
You know, it's funny. Dallas looked at as the big dummies when they let Luka go. But I got to believe with Klay Thompson there now, people don't even realize he is, and Anthony Davis, if they ever get going, they could make a little run. Maybe not this year because they're seated so low, but I felt like they were better than – look, they made a horrible trade. But I felt like they might have a better team than people think.
In Major League Baseball on this date, Roberto Clemente makes his Major League Baseball debut in 1955. Goes 1 for 4. Clemente was 20 years and 242 days old. He became the 11,225th player in Major League Baseball history.
Yeah, and he had 2,999 more hits. He finished right at 3,000. I'll say it again. I've said it before and I'll say it again. If Roberto Clemente had power, like legit, like Willie Mays type power, he might have been the greatest player in the history of the sport. He's the best defensive right fielder of all time. He's one of the best defensive outfielders of all time. He won 4 batting titles, so he obviously was a very good hitter. He just was a guy that would hit 21 home runs, not 41 home runs throughout his career.
Were you surprised when they covered up or took down the memorial, the commemorative?
No.
Yeah.
I wasn't, because they're a clown show franchise. To their credit, they put it right back up the minute they got criticism for it. The latest thing you haven't even heard is the thing called the Bucko Bricks. To fund the stadium, they had some of their fans buy bricks with their name. Joe and Susie Smith, 2001. You bought the bricks. You'd have it forever, and every time you ever go in, that's one of the ways to fund the stadium. This year, they took out all the bricks and threw them away, even though those people signed them for life.
Wow.
Google Bucko Bricks and read the story. Bob Nutting, the owners, had to come and apologize to everybody. The team presidents had to apologize to everybody, talk about how badly they handled it. But they threw away the bricks. They were supposed to be there forever. They just threw them away. so they could sell it or rebuild it or something.
That's incredible.
So no, I'm not surprised that that clown show franchise continues to be a clown show.
Yeah, wow. Well, I'm sorry to hear that. In media, ESPN's Lee Corso will make his final game day appearance on Saturday, August the 30th. The beloved broadcaster turned 90 in August. Corso made his game day debut in 1987.
Alabama plays at Florida State. Lee Corso is a Florida State grad. In his last headgear game, I hope it's in Tallahassee.
Yes.
I doubt he'll put on that headgear because Alabama's a prohibitive favorite, I would imagine. But the fitting place for him to do his last show, and maybe that's already been decided because they do play. It is that day. It is one of the big marquee games of the day, and I really do hope the fitting place for Lee to finish that extraordinary career, by the way, is his beloved alma mater, Florida State.
Absolutely. Let's get it to the world of pop culture. JJ, hit that theme music because 14 years ago today, Game of Thrones premieres back in 2011. The show lasted 8 seasons with 73 episodes and was nominated for 59 Emmys. One of the best TV shows I've ever seen. The ending, I didn't mind it as much as some did, but a fantastic TV show.
Probably the most talked about show of its genre ever. Of its time, when shows of that ilk came around. Would you agree?
Yes.
Probably the most talked about, impactful of its genre ever.
Absolutely, and we will get you out on our musical note of the day. It's an important day for alternative music as the Pixies released their second studio album, Doolittle, on this date back in 1989. Doolittle would go platinum. The Pixies heavily influenced the bands that would go on to launch the grunge era of the 1990s, including Nirvana. The band broke up in 1993 before reuniting in 2004. This is Here Comes Your Man.
I know very little about the Pixies. Is that were they were certainly an impactful band for that reason? Tell me more about it. I didn't know that.
Yeah, so they sort of created a sound that the Kurt Cobains, Smashing Pumpkins, Radiohead, a lot of the bands that would come in the 10 years, really when the Pixies had split up, would often in interviews talk about how influential the music was for them. And yeah. So just an influential band. It's too bad we didn't get more music from them.
Interesting stuff. Well done as always. Back to wrap the program after this.
It's the ride home with the Frangie Show from the Harold and Harold studio. Don't settle for less than you deserve.
This is Brent Musburger's Visa in Action update on 1010XL. Brought to you by Duck Duck Rooter Plumbing, Septic, and Air Conditioning. When you're stuck, call the Duck. Proud partner of the Jacksonville Jaguars.
The opening round of the NFL draft will take place in 1 week. It'll occur in Green Bay, Wisconsin. The Tennessee Titans have the number 1 overall pick, followed by Cleveland, the New York Giants, the New England Patriots, and the Jacksonville Jaguars. Miami quarterback Cameron Ward is the overwhelming betting favorite to go number 1 to the Titans, who need a starting quarterback. Ward is minus 20,000 to be the number 1 pick. Abdul Carter plus 2,000 to be selected by the Titans. Two-way star Travis Hunter out of the University of Colorado is at plus 5,000. Hunter is the betting favorite to go number 2 to Cleveland. He is minus 375. Carter is plus 270 to go second in the draft. Earn cash back on your gaming transactions with the GBank Signature Visa Card at vsin.com/GBank. I'm Tony Desiri with your Visa in Action update on 1010XL.
Trying to figure pricing at most AC companies is like listening to an auctioneer.
Who wants an AC tune-up? Do I hear $3.99? How about $2.99? No, let's drop it. $79? Do we have a deal? Going once, going twice? Sold!
Not at Duck Duck Air Conditioning. We make it easy. We're offering a free AC inspection. No gimmicks, no fine print, just a completely free checkup from our highly trained techs to make sure your AC is ready for summer. Call 904-862-6769 now to schedule. Duck Duck Air Conditioning, because free is better than bidding. Any required repairs are not included in the inspection.
Are you ready to step up to luxury?
Check out the power of our exciting 2025 lineup, including the Lyric, IQ, Optique, and the stunning Vistique.
With over 15 electric Cadillacs in stock and more on the way, it's the perfect time to trade in your Tesla and embrace luxury with a twist.
At Randy Marion, there are no tariffs. So visit Randy Marion Cadillac on Southside Boulevard, Jacksonville, and see why our electric lineup turns heads.
Don't miss out. Drive Cadillac, electric or gas. We have both. Plus tax tag title $9.99 admin fee and resist all on approved credit.
Mike Dempsey here. Look, it's been 10 years that I've been vouching for my guys at Dandy Boots, and for a decade, I'm proud of my association with a local family business. They make a great product. I've made no secret that I was a customer long before Dandy ever came on board on 1010XL. But I'm thinking I'm due a little Dandy swag, maybe a little love. How about a Dandy t-shirt, a ball cap? So how about it, Thompson family? What do you got going on over there? In the meantime, I'm going to keep eating those delicious tuna salad sandwiches. So guys, keep helping me out and grab a Dandy sandwich today.
Interested in a unique date night? Gibby here. I took my wife Nikki to Wick a Candle Bar. She made her own custom candle right there in the store. Shop local at Wick a Candle Bar. Locations in San Marco and Jacks Beach.
He thinks he knows what he's talking about. Of course. Find out if he does.
Is there anything else we need to know?
Catch CBS Sports senior NFL writer Pete Prisco every Friday afternoon on The Frangie Show. Brought to you by Showtime Sports Cards and Collectibles.
Hey, gang, Prosser here, and it's always great when you can replace a problem with a promise. And let me get right down to it. When it comes to Chad and Sandy and selling your home, here's a promise that you can count on. Chad and Sandy guarantee your home sold at an agreed-upon price and deadline, or they will buy it. No, more. Spring selling season is here. Rates are down. Activity's up. Now's the best time in years to sell your home. Some homes are sitting on the market, though, and hiring an expert who can maximize your equity and minimize hassle is the key. Those expert agents, and I'm recommending them to sell your home, Chad and Sandy Newman. There have been lots of you out there on the First Coast who are taking advantage. Take David and Heather in Fox Ridge. This is out in Orange Park. We wanted to move to Keystone Heights to get closer to family. Away from the city, we heard Chad and Sandy on the radio and called. What you hear is true. We got multiple offers and sold in 3 days for $15,000 above asking price. Call the local experts I trust and recommend to sell my home and yours. Call Chad and Sandy, 414-6200, ChadAndSandy.com.
I'm here with Danny Van Sickle, director of the Electrical Training Alliance. Danny, tell me about your program.
Hey, Rick, we're a 4-year electrical apprenticeship. Our students start out making over $40,000 a year and right now make over $90,000 a year, including benefits. There is no tuition or student debt. You just have to apply and get accepted.
Did you say no tuition and no student debt?
You heard that right, Rick. Once you're accepted to the program, your only cost for the books and the course fees, about $800 a year.
That sounds like an amazing opportunity. How can I learn more?
Just go to etajax.org and you can apply there.
Apply by May 15th.
Direct from Broadway, MJ, the Tony Award-winning musical, is starting something all across America. Get tickets now to what the Washington Post calls a runaway hit. MJ the Musical, playing Jacksonville Center for the Performing Arts, April 22nd through 27th. Tickets at fscjartistseries.org.
Welcome back, everybody. Okay, I'm thinking of a number between 1 and 10. Charles.
6. Oh, so close. Betty for the steal.
What about the bank that helps you reach your financial goals? Synovus.
Let's see, judges. Yes, looks like we have a winner.
That's a number?
Sorry, Charlie. Remember, a solid financial future doesn't happen by chance. Talk with Synovus about your potential today.
Brought to you by Synovus Bank, member FDIC, equal housing lender. The number was 4.
Thy ticket, Lady Jennifer of Coolidge.
Well, many thanks, good sir. Hereeth my Discover card.
They accept Discover at Renaissance fairs?
Yeah, they do here. Discover is accepted at the places I love to shop. Get it? With the times.
With the times?
You're playing the lute. Yeah, and it sounds pretty good, right?
Discover is accepted at 99% of places that take credit cards nationwide. Based on the February 2024 Nielsen report.
Gun charges, drug charges. I'm Attorney Malcolm Anthony, and I specialize in handling these types of felony cases. Stay out of trouble, but if you don't, call me at 285-4LAW. That's 285-4LAW.
At the First Coast YMCA, you'll find much more than just a gym. We offer many ways to help you become more active, reach your weight loss goals, and find your inner strength. Membership at the Y includes state-of-the-art facilities, a huge variety of fitness classes, and programs for all ages. It's easy to join the Y since it's affordable for all incomes. The Y is a great place to make connections and experience something new. Visit the YMCA near you or online at fcymca.org.
1010XL is presented by Farah and Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Protecting you and your family. Call 396-5555. Jacksonville. Now, the Cool Down with Donovan Air Electric and Plumbing, keeping Jack's cool since 1987.
Of course, of the program today, we have talked a little golf. Our friend Lee Smith stopped by from the Players Championship. The executive director of the Players, also a fantastic golf analyst. Talked about the Masters, the aftermath of the Masters, and a whole lot more. We went back into another room today. It was it was tight end room and running back room, and how much the draft will affect those areas. We both agreed that tight end's not an area they probably will draft because the room is not as big a need there. Running back, I've got it a little higher than Hays does. I think it's an area of need. There's only one downhill runner. I think it's Tank Bigsby. I think Travis Etienne's a very good player, but he's a different kind of back. So we certainly talked about that today on the program. We looked at the fact that Xavier Lee, the player that Florida fans really wanted, the point guard who comes in from Princeton, has selected the Gators. And we certainly talked about that. We started the program, by the way, certainly, and I will reiterate it, prayers for people in Tallahassee. The shooting was just awful. One person has died. 6 people were injured, one critically. One of the assailants is in custody. The other is dead. And we'll certainly learn more about that story as we continue on. And that's where we've been over the course of the program today. We touched on this yesterday. I didn't get into it any deeper. So Shedeur Sanders is going to have his number 2 retired. Rashaan Salam won the Heisman Trophy. It's not retired. Cordell Stewart's number is not retired. I don't think they won. I think Darian Hagan was the quarterback that won the national title. His number's not retired. What are we doing? I mean, he's
what Deion wants, Deion gets.
I guess because
that's the only explanation.
It really is the only explanation. The only explanation of why you would retire the number of a guy that won no championships. That good player, but what in the world are we thinking? So hopefully they'll unretire it like they did. Spurrier unretired his number and Scott Brantley's number. And no disrespect to Scott or Steve, but he just felt like numbers shouldn't be retired. You like retired numbers?
In college, not really, because obviously it can sometimes be a recruiting tool if a player is really loyal to their number. So I like more of the Ring of Honor approach where you immortalize them,
right?
But the number is still fair game.
Florida State had a great receiver named Ron Sellers from Jacksonville, great player. Paxton High School, Florida State, wore number 34, fantastic player. Odd number for receiver, but back then they wore different numbers, so Ron wore 34. When FSU was recruiting Ernie Sims, and they were about to lose him to Florida, Bobby Bowden called Ron Sellers and said, "Can we offer him 34 and unretire your number?" And Sellers said, "Of course." What's he going to say?
Right.
No. But I still remember it. Now I don't know if anyone's worn it since. Maybe they've re-retired it, but I know they unretired 34 so Ernie Sims could wear it. I can remember that very distinctly. So it'll be interesting to see. I like what the Jaguars do. The Jaguars, I think, have technically only retired Baselli's number, but no one's wearing 8 again, right? No one's wearing 28. No one's wearing 82. I think I'm right about that, right?
Yeah, and again, it's easier to get away with it in the NFL because you just obviously player acquisition. You just write a name on a card and there's your draft pick, and you just offer the most money and you get the free agent. So you don't have there's certainly loyalty to a number, but it's normally up to 2 players to figure it out than anything else. You're not going to lose a player if the number isn't available, but and you just don't have as many athletes on the roster as you would in college. But yeah, I don't think it's ever. I can't remember a number conflict that the Jaguars had since I started covering the team in 2013. I can't remember that ever.
You mean like a number?
Like it being like there being an issue with a player not being able to get their number.
No, I don't.
I mean, normally, if it's a draft pick, the draft pick may not get their number right away.
Right.
But there's sort of a wink and a nod that the guy that has your number may not make the 53.
That's right.
So just be patient.
Yeah, and I like what Brian Thomas Jr. did. He wore 11 all through college. He would have loved to have had 11 when he got here. He said that. Parker Washington had it. He put on number 7, and he made number 7 a star. I don't think he'll ever change that number now. I think Brian Thomas Jr. will be the best number 7 in Jaguars history. And so I think you can certainly make a name for you. I can tell you this story. When Tim Tebow played at Nice, he wore number 5. Got to Florida, and 5 was taken. Was it maybe Andre Caldwell, I think, had it? And so I was at lunch with Tim and his dad right before he got to Florida. He said, what number are you going to wear? He said, I don't know. And I remember his dad saying, we want to wear a number that nobody's ever worn before of significance, and picked 15, which I don't think Wayne Peace wore it, but I don't think anybody of significance had worn it. I'd go through your list of numbers of guys that wore number 15.
I am so bad at that stuff.
Yeah.
We couldn't be more of a 180 when it comes to
the numbers.
I can't tell you almost any athlete's number. I don't know why. It just doesn't sink in with me. I know their name, and I just don't equate the number. I just never have.
For the longest time, Hacker would try and stump me on all Gator numbers. He used to try and do that.
Yeah.
So let's, speaking of which.
Now, the 2-minute drill. Serviced by Cool Cats Heating and Cooling. Locally owned and operated. We're your neighbors. CoolCatsJacks.com.
The coolest cats in town.
We used to play it all the time. Remember that?
Long time ago. Like my Gator fandom began back in the early 90s, and I know all of those numbers.
Right.
So like I would throw Ellis Johnson at Frangie, and you would of course say
61.
Yeah, and Kirkpatrick, and you would say
88.
Yeah. See, we would do this all day, every day, hours and hours and hours.
We're very simple. We're two public school guys with simple minds,
and we really enjoy it. Like it was the highlight of our day, right?
That's exactly right.
Yeah.
Xavier Lee, excited about Xavier Lee?
I am. I got to be honest. I didn't know who he was a week ago.
Right.
But
you didn't? Yeah.
No, but I mean I knew of him but I didn't know watch his tape or anything.
Yeah, and in fairness, by the way, 2 weeks ago I didn't either.
Right.
Once I started hearing,
I didn't know who he was 3 days ago.
Yeah, but what I know is Kansas wanted him.
Yeah.
And what I know is Rick Pitino and St. John's wanted him.
Right.
And maybe more importantly, Todd Golden wanted him. So I'm going to rely on Todd Golden for this. And if he wanted him, I'm happy he's there.
I will say this: I have watched his tape. He's pretty goddamn good.
Yeah, I agree.
He'll play in your league.
Yeah.
He'll play in your. You will since you watch the NBA and we don't. You'll see him in that league.
Yeah.
1 year and you'll see him in that league. So that'll be kind of exciting. So, all right, how you doing?
I'm good. I'm good.
What's going on in your world? What's coming up on the radio show? What are we doing tonight?
Well, we're going to talk. I know you and I spoke about this guy last week. Your buddy David Steele.
Yeah.
Is going to join me.
Tell David I said hello. He's one of my favorite people.
Will do. Play-by-play voice of the Orlando Magic as they get ready to take on Boston. Just an all-around great guy. And I'm going to ask David, obviously, his ties to the University of Florida, what he thought about the Gator title run in basketball. Maybe Walter Clayton to Orlando next year. Could he put in a good word for Walter Clayton?
I hope that happens.
Oh, I'd love that.
That would be phenomenal.
They got 2 first-round picks. I mean, right now they would have 16 and 23 if the draft were today.
And he's from Lake Wales, so he's from Central Florida.
I'd go watch him.
And the Magic,
if he became one of the Magic's best players, I'd go to Orlando to watch Walter Clayton.
Magic needs shooting, need help in the backcourt. I mean, it's a fit. It's not like it'd be a reach just because he's a Florida guy. I would love Walter Clayton in an Orlando Magic uniform.
All right. So you got a busy show tonight. By the way, I do want to ask you this, Hays. When I go to Indianapolis for the Final Four next year, you want to come?
I would love to be there with you. Absolutely.
We'll have some cocktails.
A little back-to-back for the second time in 2 decades.
I'm ready.
Yeah, that'd be good.
Hacker goes in tonight. Thanks, Zach.
Thanks, guys.
Hacker Nation goes into the night. I keep saying that. Hacker Nation after dark. Rick goes into the night. Hackers after dark. But he comes up right now. Folks, that's our program. Don't go anywhere. One more time this week. We'll be here. Same bat time, same bat channel. For Hays and JJ, I'm Frank Frangie. So long.
The Frangie Show.